Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my best ball tournament winning picks for your 2022 best ball drafts. Inside of today's video, I'll be going in depth into 3 different players who I believe are going to be on the winning lineup of these big tournaments, especially on Underdog Fantasy, the sponsor of today's video. And while I go in depth into each of these players, I would appreciate that you guys let me know down below in the comment section if you are riding with me on these picks or if you believe that you should be fading the players I talk about in today's video. But before we could get into things, I would like to ask that if you are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, that you please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there, whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure that you do leave a like on today's video. It would help us out a ton. And if you would like to follow me on Twitter, please do so at Notorious FNTSY. So without further ado, let's get into my best ball tournament winning picks. We'll begin with the first player on the docket, Jalen Hurts, quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. His current ADP on Underdog Fantasy is quarterback 6 at pick 63.6. So looking at the quarterbacks ahead of him and their ADPs, we got Josh Allen, who's the QB1, coming off the board at pick 30.5. Then after Josh Allen, there's about a round until the next quarterback comes off the board, which is Justin Herbert, the QB2 at pick 44.8. Then we see Lamar Jackson, the QB3 at pick 50.5, followed by Patrick Mahomes, 1 pick later, pick 51.1, and then Kyler Murray about 8 picks later, the QB5 at pick 59.2. So you are getting over a 30 pick discount on Jalen Hurts compared to Josh Allen. Now, in my opinion, there is a clear top 5 at the quarterback position, which is Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Kyler Murray. Now, you can take them and throw them into a blender and fucking blend them all up and then say you believe that Kyler Murray's the quarterback too. You can go ahead and say that, right? I'm not going to make an argument with you. But I do really believe that Jalen Hurts should be in that argument of being a top 5 quarterback, and Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, based upon what we saw him do in 2021, I strongly believe that Jalen Hurts could be the quarterback number 1 at the end of the 2022 fantasy football season. Last year, playing in 15 games for the Eagles, he finishes as the quarterback 9 on the season and quarterback number 6 in points per game, tied with the MVP, the back-to-back MVP, Mr. Discount Double Check, Aaron Rodgers. Last year, Hurts had 432 passing attempts, which is nothing groundbreaking, 28.8 per game, 21st at quarterback for 3,144 passing yards, 209.6 per game. Again, nothing groundbreaking, 21st at quarterback, a 61.3% completion percentage, pretty solid, 16 passing touchdowns at a measly 3.7% rate, 23rd at quarterback. Now, quarterback passing touchdown rate is the stat that I like to use to try to determine and project how many passing touchdowns I believe a quarterback will throw in the next season. If a quarterback is around the 5% passing touchdown rate, then it's pretty likely that they're going to throw maybe slightly less touchdowns or slightly more touchdowns, right? Because around that 5% rate is very normal. When you see a quarterback throw 5% plus, meaning they throw maybe 5.7% or 6% plus, that means that it's very likely that unless they're this crazy elite quarterback, and even the crazy elite quarterbacks, eventually there's going to be a downswing closer to 5%. But for Jalen Hurts, at a 3.7% rate, what that tells me is that Jalen Hurts is basically a fucking lock to throw more than 16 passing touchdowns in 2022. Obviously, you have to be a good enough quarterback to be able to pass that 3.7% rate, but I wouldn't be talking about Jalen Hurts as potentially finishing as the number 1 quarterback in fantasy football, winning you these big best ball tournaments if I didn't think he was a good passer. So 16 passing touchdowns last year to 9 INTs, 9 interceptions. But the kicker here for Jalen Hurts is the fact that this guy is completely and utterly fucking dominant when it comes to rushing the football. 140 carries, number 1 at quarterback last season. 782 rushing yards, you guessed it, number 1 at quarterback, and 10 rushing touchdowns, number 1 at QB. Now, I understand Kyler Murray was out some games, Lamar Jackson was out some games, but at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts showed us that he is one of the best rushing quarterbacks in the NFL, and Jalen Hurts is on a team, in my opinion, that 100% believes in his capability as a passer. I do not believe that the Philadelphia Eagles would have gotten on the phone, called up the Tennessee Titans, and made that trade for A.J. Brown if they thought that Jalen Hurts was terrible, right? If they thought Jalen Hurts could not do it. I think that the addition of A.J. Brown tells me that the team is going to be committing to throwing the ball a little bit more. This Philadelphia Eagles offense was one of the most run-heavy teams in the National Football League. Now, do I believe that in 2022, they are going to take this humongous leap from 2021 and become one of the most pass-heavy offenses in the NFL? Of course not. That would be absolutely absurd to think. But do I think that a passing uptick in this offense could happen in 2022? 100%. Well, I know, Nick, you just talked about the fact that you like Jalen Hurts because of the rushing upside. If they're passing the ball more, doesn't that mean that his rushing upside is going to be limited? Probably not, right? Because Jalen Hurts is still going to be able to run the ball even if they are passing it slightly more. And I think adding that weapon of A.J. Brown is really going to open things up for this offense and even help out wide receivers like Devontae Smith, who had a solid rookie year. I'm not going to say that he had some shit tier rookie year, but he didn't have an amazing year. And then there's other wide receivers behind Devontae Smith who may be able to elevate their game when the DBs are really keen in on A.J. Brown, obviously. So guys like Jalen Reagor, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, those are guys that could step up. They also have Dallas Goedert, who in my opinion is probably one of the more underrated tight ends in the NFL. So I really think Jalen Hurts has been given the keys to this offense. He's been basically pushed into a position to succeed in 2022, and I would not be surprised at all if Jalen Hurts finished as the quarterback one on the season, and again, a 33.6, or 33.1, I should say, ADP difference between him and Josh Allen. I think, personally, that Jalen Hurts is a smash pick where he is going, and he is a very easy quarterback to stack, especially if you don't hop into the A.J. Brown train, maybe just miss out on A.J. Brown the first couple of rounds, but they draft Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. He is one of the easier quarterbacks to stack with in fantasy football, and that rushing upside is chef's kiss, magnifique. The next player to discuss here is, according to Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer Allen Lazard, wide receiver of the Green Bay Packers, ADP wide receiver 38, pick 79.5. Now, obviously, that was a joke because Derek Carr, or Devontae Adams, I should say, was talking about Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers, and he said that Devontae Adams going from one Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers to another in Derek Carr, which obviously makes no fucking sense. Aaron Rodgers is definitely going to go into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, I've only been alive for 23 years. He's one of the best quarterbacks I have ever seen play the game. So he's obviously going into the Hall of Fame, and then Derek Carr hasn't really done anything. Now, he's not a bad quarterback, but he's not a Hall of Famer. So, in retaliation to that, Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm going from one Hall of Fame wide receiver in Devontae Adams to Allen Lazard. And while that's all a joke, and maybe that pissed off Allen Lazard a little bit, that tells me that in the head of Mr. Aaron Rodgers, Mr. Discount Double Check, he believes that Allen Lazard is the new number one wide receiver in this offense to replace Devontae Adams. Now, they draft Christian Watson, but Christian Watson is banged up, and missing training camp, missing preseason is going to be a unmitigated fucking disaster for Christian Watson because he's a rookie. If, say, Randall Cobb misses training camp, preseason, who gives a fuck? Because Randall Cobb's been in the league since people didn't even have cars and you had to ride around on a horse, right? That's how long Randall Cobb's been in the NFL with Aaron Rodgers. So it wouldn't matter at all. Aaron Rodgers wouldn't lose any sleep at night. It wouldn't matter at all. But for Christian Watson, that means a lot because he's not going to be able to develop that connection with quarterback Aaron Rodgers. And we've seen in the past that having chemistry with the quarterback Aaron Rodgers is what means everything for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to feed you the ball because he trusts you. It's not that Randall Cobb is Randall Cobb of the past. It's the fact that Aaron Rodgers, when he sees Randall Cobb, he trusts him. So we'll throw him the football. Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, trusts Allen Lazard to be the number one wide receiver on the offense. And again, he's wide receiver 38 off the board right now, pick 79.5 on Underdog Fantasy. In 2021, Allen Lazard played in 15 games, finished as the wide receiver 45.5 PPR and the wide receiver 50 in half PPR points per game, tied with Michael Gallup of the Dallas Cowboys. He had 60 targets, 4.0 per game, ranking 73rd at wide receiver, 40 receptions, 2.7 per game, 65th, 513 receiving yards, 34.2 per game, 67th, and 8 total touchdowns, 13th at wide receiver. Obviously, his best stat last year was the touchdown total, 8 total touchdowns. Great. But all those numbers don't really mean anything. They don't, because those are numbers with Davante Adams. So now we are looking at a Davante Adams less offense. We are looking at a team that doesn't really have a clear wide receiver one besides Allen Lazard. Again, there's the hope about Christian Watson. Finally, the Packers draft Aaron Rodgers a receiver, and now the guy's not healthy. So I am basically 99% sure that Allen Lazard is going to be the number one wide receiver to start the season on the Green Bay Packers. Now, does that mean that Allen Lazard is going to be Davante Adams? No, it does not mean that. But does it mean that Allen Lazard should easily eviscerate wide receiver 38? Yes. It means that if Allen Lazard is the number one receiver, there is no way in fuck he should be the wide receiver 38 right now coming off the board on Underdog Fantasy. There's no way he should be anywhere near that. He should be closer to wide receiver 24. I think that Allen Lazard's ADP is going to move. I think people are going to catch on to the fact that Allen Lazard is the clear number one option in Green Bay, and he's going to start screaming up the draft board. So make sure that you are snagging Allen Lazard right now before his ADP starts to move, and give yourself an advantage in these tournaments. Before we get on into the final player in today's video, I'd like to give you guys a quick word from our friends, our sponsor of today's video. We've talked about them a bit already, Underdog Fantasy, which is the numero uno best place to play fantasy football this summer. The Best Ball Mania 3 tournament has $10 million in total prize money, $2 million to first place. All you got to do is draft your team, and that's it. You don't have to worry about sitting there on Tuesday doing a million waivers. You don't have to worry about trying to call people up, make some trades, send off a million text messages, send off a million trade offers in the app, and then have no one answer you, and you feel like a bit of a dumbass, right? No one's answering you, and you don't even have to worry about on Sunday sitting on the toilet, setting a million lineups. You don't have to worry about that because Underdog will give you the best score at the end of every week with the players that you drafted. They will automatically put the best players in your lineup at every single position. So there's no in-season management. All you got to do is draft your team, and that's it. Last year's Best Ball Mania champion drafted their team in June. It's the end of July. It's almost August. It's almost, quote-unquote, draft season for redraft leagues, but you can draft your team right now and take home that humongous prize pool. Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100 when you use promo code Stochastic, which is good for 4 entries into the Best Ball Mania 3 tournament. Or you can go ahead and click on the link in the video description that will be giving you guys that same $100 deposit bonus, but it will also be giving you guys our Best Ball draft kit and our fantasy football draft kit for free. So you deposit $100, you get the additional $100 on the website, so it'll give you $200 on Underdog, and you will get the $70 worth of the fantasy football and the draft kit. So for the fantasy football draft kit as well as the best ball draft kit. So please make sure that you guys do check that out again. Link down below in the video description. So final player that I believe is going to be on the best ball championship lineup. We got running back of the Miami Dolphins. This is a deep cut. Running back 57, pick 184.0, Raheem, the Dream, Mostert. In 2021, for the San Francisco 49ers, he played in 1 game, 2 carries, 20 yards, gets hurt. That sucks, but that was the first game of the season, so it's like the injury didn't happen, right? I'm not going to go ahead and say that that injury is going to have anything to do with anything. He's been practicing with the Dolphins in training camp. He's fine. In 2020, the year prior, he plays in 8 games with 104 carries for 521 yards, 16 receptions for 146 yards, and 3 total touchdowns. That's in 8 games. But his last quote-unquote full season, he played 15 games, one off of being perfect, because back then they only played 16 games in 2019. He had 137 carries, 9.1 per game, 772 rushing yards, 51.5 per game, 22 targets, 14 receptions, 180 receiving yards, and 10 total touchdowns. Now, back then, he was in a committee. In Miami, he's in a committee. But he's in a committee with head coach Mike McDaniel. Where was Mike McDaniel before this? San Francisco. So that means that Mike McDaniel knows Raheem Mostert well. He brought in Raheem Mostert for a reason. And I love Chase Edmonds. I'm a Chase Edmonds truther. I'm all about drafting Chase Edmonds. But I also understand the value very deep in drafts in Raheem Mostert because of the big play upside this guy has in every game. Raheem Mostert is one of the fastest guys in the NFL. He's got that Lightning McQueen speed. He, even in training camp yesterday, he's like, oh, let's race Tyreek. Tyreek might burn his ass, okay? He might run faster than Raheem Mostert. But Raheem Mostert is still one of the fastest players in the NFL. This is an offense built off of speed. This is an offense that's going to be looking to establish the run. Again, Mike McDaniel from the 49ers. You know, one thing about the Niners, they like to run the ball. Mike McDaniel likes to run the football. Raheem Mostert is not the biggest running back, but he does have speed, and I think that if he could stay healthy, which is an if, right? We've never really seen Raheem Mostert stay healthy. If he could stay healthy, this guy could pop off multiple times in your lineup. He's not going to be consistent. I honestly highly doubt he's going to be consistent, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if he had 4 games on the season where he moved into the running back 12 or better category for fantasy football because of his very strong ability to take the ball from anywhere on the field and take that shit to the crib into the end zone. So I really like Raheem Mostert's upside in Miami this year, and I think he is definitely worth a deep Stephen Curry shot from half court, from full court, technically, right, when you're at pick 184, from full court on Raheem the Dream Mostert. So thank you guys all so much for watching today's video. Let me know what you guys think about Jalen Hurts, Allen Lazard, and Raheem Mostert. Do you agree that these guys are going to be fantasy football league winners, best ball tournament league winners, or do you not like them? Either way is good with me. Let me know down below in the comment section. I love talking to you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your guys' day. Make sure you guys do click on the link in the video description to get your, obviously, deposit bonus on Underdog, as well as getting your free best ball draft kit and your free fantasy football draft kit. I love you guys all so much. I hope you have a great rest of your guys' day. And as always, good boy!